Okay, so we're back to our Shalom Bayit class, Rav Shalom Arush's Garden of Peace. So we're in the capture of quelling arguments. Quelling arguments mean kill the argument right there. An argument ensued, you got to try to kill it. The book Kochve Or tells us that a man came to Rav Nachman of Breslov, of blessed memory, and told him the sorrow he had from his daughter, who had been convinced by a non-Jew to give up Judaism. Yeah, and had disappeared. The Rebbe told him that she was at the home of this local priest, and that he should send two men in a wagon to the priest's house. They would find his daughter standing outside, and when she sees them, she will want to come home with them. Yeah, so it was. She returned to her family and back to Judaism, and the Rebbe arranged for her to get married to a certain young man. Before the wedding, he told the groom, if you ever get angry or argue with her, be very careful not to remind her of what she did. If you do, it'll be disastrous. If you're careful about this, I promise you, you will have good children from her. The young man heeded the Rebbe's words and indeed had children who grew up to be outstanding Torah scholars. What he's saying is, a lot of times wives have trust in us and they tell us things that, happened in the past. Whether it's abuse, whether this, whether that. They are entrusting you in the beginning of the relationship that you're going to keep that very cherished and secret, whatever.
Not use it against
So he says, when an argument ensues, what happens? You this, you that, you like this, you like that. And this shatters everything. But here he wants to say another thing. He says, let's read. He says, Rav Nachman writes in Likutei Moharan that everyone has a lust for victory. This is what makes winning so sweet and losing so bitter. The human inclination knows this and uses it to his advantage, meaning the Yetzer Hara uses it to the advantage of the fact that we always want to win. When people argue, the human inclination encourages both sides to use every available means to win, no matter how hurtful or underhanded it is, meaning low blow. People know that cheap shots and bringing up dirt from the past are wrong, but in the heat of the argument, when they're focused on winning, they can't resist mudslinging at anyone. In an argument with one's wife, the damage might be irreparable, even leading to divorce. A lot of times we say things that are just hurtful. Why? Not that we mean it, Be'emet, we don't mean it. But at this moment, we can punch her. Some do, chas v'shalom, but we can't. So what do? We like, you like this, And we say things that are hurtful, and in a woman's heart, this thing is engraved like the luchot. The luchot? They were through and through. They went through and through, right? So there's no way to erase that. Why? It's through and through. So imagine, how do you fill the thing where
I think that when she shared this information in the beginning, we have to give her cup schools right away. This way, it entered us inside properly.
You're saying things that are ideal situations, but imagine when she drives you to the point that and again, it's because of you, but you don't think that way, but to the point where you want to hurt her, what do you say? You backlash at her. So what he's saying, look, to avoid trouble, one must establish clear boundaries and make a firm commitment never to overstep them, no matter how angry or hurt he is. For example, no matter what, he should never ever mention divorce. Some people spend years paying the price of a momentary slip of the tongue. If a husband conquers his evil inclination and doesn't overstep these limits, his reward will be very great. Like the young man in the story, our sages say that the world is sustained in the merit of those who control themselves during an argument and refrain from saying what they could say. I remember when I got married years ago, I said to my listen, I don't hit, not planning to hit, but sometimes I curse. Yeah, I said, we're going to make a deal, no cursing. Maybe screaming, maybe this, that, but no cursing. And this was a standard operating procedure with us, no cursing. Recently, I've been talking to a couple couples. Some got married recently, and they start cursing at each other. So I said to him, this kills the respect. No more respect mutually. She curses you, you curse it, and then down, it'll go to different. So he said, you got to put boundaries. You got to sit your wife down, sit yourself down, and say, listen, no cursing, no hitting, no pushing, and then you got to stick to those guns. He says that anybody who stick to these things, Hashem is going to reward you. Just like he said to him, don't mention anything about her past. He says a man whose wife returned to orthodoxy or has been through some kind of trauma must be very careful to never remind her of the past mistakes that she made or transgressions she did, or of the crisis that she went through. Right? It says, if he does, he transgresses the Torah prohibition of onad devarim, of upsetting others. Even if he intends to help her, he shouldn't mention her embarrassing past unless she herself brings up the past herself. If he truly wants to help her, he should show her love, attention, and do his best to make her happy, because joy is the best cure for the soul. As the prophet says, they had happiness and joy, so sorrow and sighing fled. You hear? He says if she has certain past issue, don't ever bring it up unless she wants to bring it up herself. If she wants to bring it up herself and you're able to help her, do. But the best thing, love and happiness. That's all.
Interesting. He doesn't say try to solve her problem.
Yeah, no. You can't solve it.
Example.
Yeah, example.
Example. Why she is saying to a new husband what she went through in, let's say, in her house.
Mm-hmm.
She say, I'm telling you this because I'm trusting you that you will take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do, this Tipesh?
The opposite.
He take this, and now he start to bang her with this one. So there is no trust. The trust is out.
Wow.
Out. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately.
I can trust you. And then Zero is gonna go downhill. It's gonna be very difficult. Extremely difficult. Because she is expecting you to treat her now like she told you all the secret. You know what I went through, right? Huh? No, at least take care of me. Instead, and you're doing exactly the opposite to use it against me. She's not going to be your friend.
So, Kodara, Shalom
Alaykum shalom.
So Kodo says, trust you cannot rebuild.
No, you could
Kasher מאוד.
Hold on.
Yeah.
קשה מאוד. To lose it, it takes
Yeah, easy.
1 minute.
Yes.
To build it, years. Years. כולי ואולי.
But possible.
Possible.
It's possible if you stick to the method that he's using, she's gonna bring it up again, meaning she'll bring up the fact that you didn't show, it broke the trust. You have to stand like a man and not buckle, because I've been seeing that happening. That you're good, and then things from the past come just for, and you know what? I even know why they come, because we again fall with the eyes, fall with the brain, and then Hashem says, "Oh, okay, no problem." He brings back that, he brings the hit right away. Mamash, I see it like one-on-one thing. Now, you didn't do anything to her. You're treating her nicely, and she's hitting you. Why? Not because of her. It's because you at work were already, fishing with your eye somewhere. It's Mama, I see it's a correlation. But you will build up the stuff if you stand on your guns. Your woman wants to see that you're a man. A man doesn't buckle. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, he doesn't break down. She'll tell you, you stay. I love you anyway. You're the most dearest to me. I can't live without you. I know those words are very often hard to express.
Very good words.
They're hard to express. Why? Because we're thinking, what? I could live without you. I could have 20 like you. What's wrong with you? But no. Again. We as men don't want to feel the vulnerability in us, so we protect ourselves by not saying, I cannot live without you. What? You cannot live without her? You kidding me? If not her, there's another woman, But that's the whole manlyhood, is that I can stand and I can say that. And I can mean it.
I'll tell you how can you build it back. Okay? If you're serious, you sit down with your wife. Now come תשובה. הוא מודה ועוזר ירוחם. Meaning you have to admit, you have to say, wife, I was very bad. I used it against you. I know I'm at fault. I'm not going to do it again. And Now I'm going to show you exactly who I am. From here, at least the hole is covered. Now you have to start to build. Yeah.
So it's interesting you said that. I did that, and you know what she tells me? She's like, you know, in 2016, on this day, you said to me, you were doing that, and I guess I broke back then. And so you were lying, and you said I lied. Everything that I did was fake, and this and that. And I said, listen, I wasn't fake, but I wanted to hurt you with words. I said, so that's why I said it, because it wasn't, no, but it meant, because at the end of the day, it was like a slap, but I didn't slap. I slapped with words. So I said, listen, forget about that. Give me a chance. And that's how you start slowly building a trust. And they will see it. They will see it. You just have to keep to your guns. You have to stand straight. It says, Rav Chaim Vital writes like this.
And that's a man.
Yeah.
That's a mentality of a man.
Also, we learned
Yeah.
that
And a man thinks, man, I'm going to admit, man, okay, let's repair it. No. I was at fault. And people say, oh, look, no, that's a man. According to the Torah, not according to street.
You should hear, Rabbi, while you were away, such arguments we had.
Yeah?
Smoke coming here
Why?
about this book.
No, some people,
That's my
some,
position.
What?
no, some people don't think this is a manly thing.
Yeah.
They
They prove the opposite. They prove.
That's why they're not here.
Yeah.
And that's why they're having problems with their wives. Because they think they're a man. I'd rather be a man with problems than a man with no problems.
They'd rather sleep in 2 rooms.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
And he's not going to change.
Yes, yes.
I'm-
That's
somebody like this, I'm going to take his head and break to see if there is a brain somewhere. What are you doing? Life is not coming back every day. You're losing it, you're tipesh. What are you doing? What are you doing? And actually, he said somewhere once that it's only the mirror. You look at yourself in the mirror. That's what you are. Man, when are you gonna run away? When? For what? For yourself?
it says, yeah.
you mentioned how sometimes even when you start the process, suddenly it's like, wait, she's bringing up other stuff. We've learned the idea that when the person does tshuva, we get tested with that same thing to see if we really did change. So in the heat of the moment, you feel comfortable saying, I'm gonna apologize for this. It's like, yeah, you serious? Let's throw in the heat.
Right.
And then you get really tested. So that's how you do it.
Yeah. Rav Chaim Vital says, if one's wife rebukes him about matters of heaven, he must accept her words because this is the way of humility. Yeah? One of the things that we men are not able to do is be humble. And that's where this whole, I don't believe in this book, this method is not good. Why? Because you have to humble yourself. He says true humility is when one is humble with subordinates, like the members of his household and his servants. Listening, accepting their words to rebuke and advice is a sign that one respects their opinion and is willing to learn from everybody. When one accepts chastisement and humiliation with love, his sins are atoned. The pain of the humiliations substitutes for the suffering that he was due to him. Remember we said, you want chas v'shalom cancer? Chas v'shalom, yeah? Or you want the pain from this humiliating thing, humbling yourself. True repentance is to bear insult and remain silent. He says, if Trump tells you to do something, yes, sir. You're going to be very humble with Trump. Why? He's Trump. I'm going to make a... He says, humility is when your subordinates, right? Your wife, I'm not saying she's a subordinate. I'm saying you're head of the household, right? It's when you humble yourself in front of them. He says, now you're a true humble man because you're standing. He says, nobody likes a slap nobody likes a slap on the knuckles. In most instances, a person's pride prevents him from hearing a reprimand, no matter how justified. Here, meaning we don't want to hear that we're wrong. I don't want to hear, no matter how much true it is. One tends to focus on finding fault in whoever is scolding or criticizing him, or he retaliates. Meaning, when he's telling me something bad, when the wife tells me something bad, what do we say? You like this, you're the one who doesn't do this,
Protect himself.
Exactly, we have a whole list. A person's damaged pride stands in the way of teshuvah and mending his ways. See the part again. The Brisker Rav said, when a person hears rebuke from another, sometimes his pride renders him incapable of saying, I sinned. Even when he knows that he will suffer, and suffer he does. Just what the Rav said right now. Yeah? Doesn't want to say that I was wrong. Part of trying to overcome alcoholism and many of this is to say what? Hi, my name is this, I'm an alcoholic. My name is this, I'm a drug addict. My name is this, why? Because you realized that you're in a mistaken situation. So now you can work on it. But if you never realize it, the brain will never work to try to, tackle the problem. Why? Because you yourself are not allowing yourself to be able to take this as a mistake. You hear? He says, his pride doesn't permit him to admit his sin. When the people of Sodom attempted to capture and sodomize Lot's guests, they were smitten with blindness and other afflictions. Yet they continued clamoring and trying to find the door to Lot's house and break it. Wow. Did we ever think about that? Ibi, you're seeing already, you're blinded. Somebody just blinded you. Where are you going? No. We're not going to stop. And many of our situations of marriage problems is that what? We see problems are occurring and we're not going to stop. We're sleeping in 2 different rooms and we're not going to stop. We're already kicked out of our house and we're not stopping. You're getting divorced and you're not stopping. You're dying and you're not going to stop. That's how stubborn we are. It says the last person a man wants to hear a reprimand is his wife. Sadly, most of her words of rebuke fall on deaf ears and no effect. Too bad for the husband. Too bad for the husband is the loser on 2 counts. When he doesn't listen, he says you lost. Why? First, his wife's rebuke is a growth opportunity for him. The old adage says that there is no smoke without a fire. In that respect, even if he feels that her claims are exaggerated, or unjustified, if he contemplates them earnestly, he's sure to find some substance in each of what she's saying. A wife's feedback is invaluable since it helps her husband grow and progress towards his soul correction, his lifelong mission in the world. He says, listen, would she be screaming for no reason? If she's going crazy, okay, let's say it's exaggerated. But at the end of the day, there's something there. At least listen. You hear? When people hear rebuke from this guy, from that guy, with this guy, so he said, he's the one. No, he doesn't know what he's talking about. My friend, stay 1 second. Say, something's got to be wrong with me. If everybody's giving me this thing, something's got to be wrong with me. So he's saying, when your wife is making noise,
screaming,
and something must be wrong with you. It cannot be that you're Mr. Perfect Man and the whole house is in shambles. Yeah, talking to a guy, he says, my kids want me out already, my wife wants to divorce me. And you know what he says? They all have a problem. I'm very good. I do everything in the house. I do everything in the house.
I was looking for the root of the stubbornness. And I found that the root is from Pharaoh.
Yes, because he was stubborn.
Because he didn't want to release the Am Israel right away. He was stubborn.
So that's the first
thing. Hold on a second, Aram wants to answer.
He was full.
He was full. Yeah, he was full. As like we are sometimes.
It's not the action.
It's not action?
No.
Oh, okay.
He made a very simple cheshbon.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was too smart, sometimes this smartness will kill you.
What kind of
He was saying to himself, these 2 guys, they claiming that Hashem is the most powerful one. So why does he need my
permission?
Permission. it means what? That he is not that strong.
Yeah, I am strong. I
understand.
can release them. I have.
Wow, look at the second thing. So first thing is she's screaming, he's not listening, maybe something is really wrong with him. Secondly, it says unloading whatever weighs heavy on her heart to an attentive husband has magical effects on a woman. With each word she says, the pain and bitterness diminishes and are replaced by growing sense of calm and warm glow. If she truly feels that her words are heard and accepted, then by the end of the conversation or later in the day, she herself will approach her husband with renewed warmth and affection. The knowledge that he values her opinion and wants to improve gives her enormous satisfaction. And many of us went through this right now. Just by giving a ear, just by accepting what she's saying, not going crazy on her. She herself will now think, oh, Baruch Hashem, I have a husband who's listening, he wants to help me. And she herself will come and say, okay, Slatki Moy, let's do this, let's do that. You understand? He says, a husband whose pride rejects his wife's reprimand will eventually lose communication with her. She'll give up trying to tell him anything, and his loss will be tremendous. He loses the opportunity to learn about himself and grow, and his wife will become more and more frustrated with him. They'll drift apart, and their relationship will steadily deteriorate, as many of us have experienced. Dear husbands, our wives need to feel safe in telling us anything and everything that is on our hearts, and confident that we'll listen to them and heed their message without getting angry. Swallowing our pride is hard to do, but our rewards for doing so certainly merits the effort. Meaning, we are stubborn, we don't want. He says, no, don't let her be able to tell you everything. And accept what she's saying, because this will be better for you. I tell a lot of my friends, I said, make sure whenever kids tell you something, be very, very accepting. Receptive and accepting. Don't go crazy. Like if he says, oh, I tried smoking. You say, what? Smoking cigarette? You crazy? Is this, that? Gotta be calm. Because they're gonna try. They say, oh, really? Interesting. How was it? Yeah. Understand what they're saying. Digest it. Wait for it, and then slowly you explain to them. It's inevitable that you would have tried this, that, and slowly talk them. Explain to them the harms that could have caused. But to go crazy on a child, about something that they did, that's exactly the perfect recipe. To not have them tell you anything, not even the regular things, and they go outside and get friends and whatever. So he's saying over here, just listen to her. Just put your gava down a little bit, listen to her, say, oh yeah, you're right, Smotek, yeah. So she can calm herself down. Eventually she's going to become a woman of valor, a woman who values you. Why? Because you're showing that you value her. And B'ezrat Hashem, each one of us should work on our ga'ava, which is the most important thing in this world. We come down to work on our gava, pride, right? Ego. Work on our ego and our pride. Once we control our pride, our ego, not that the ego is controlling us, because we should know, many men, the ego controls them. And that's why they're walking around like, a non-controllable individual. Once we control the ego, our lives are much more calmer. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.